Good morning. Welcome to Plant-Based Cooking with AARP Alabama. I'm your host for today, Tawana Wright, and we're delighted that you're joining us. Folks, we want to remind you that AARP is empowering people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization with more than 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate on their behalf, all of them, without regard to politics. When the pandemic began, AARP shifted to virtual platform to try and make sure that our members could stay safe while enjoying our activities. And today we have with us Chef Brock, and we're going to do a cooking demonstration. Chef Brock, how are you?
I'm doing well. Glad to be here.
All right. So what do you have on tap for us today?
So, we are doing a couple of salads that include fruit, and we're starting with our watermelon poke.
Well, I'm excited about that. I'm going to get out of the way because no one came to see me. They came to watch you prepare these salads. I'm going to step out.
All right. So, we're going to start with our salad and our greens. But first, I want to just talk about why including fruit in salads. So, it's very hot here in Birmingham, and we want to try to incorporate as much water and liquid as we can in our diet. Our joints and things are achy because we probably eat too many carbs, eat much starchy foods. And so anytime you can get in water by way of watermelon or your fruits and vegetables, that's what you want to do. So we have our greens, and if you remember from before, we don't just open a bag, we actually chop our greens for you and make our own house blend. So this is red and green cabbage and romaine lettuce. And so I'm just kind of going back through and chopping it a second time, not necessarily making it bite-sized, but just so that it'll all sort of be the same size with the fruit and everything. So we're going to put it back in our bowl now that we've chopped that up. And we're going to add basil. So this is fresh basil, and Thai basil would be great if you can find it. And but basil is good. A lot of people might be growing basil, and you have a lot of it, and you want to know what to do with it. A great thing to do is to chop up herbs and put them in your salads. So we've got some basil leaves. We're just going to kind of stack them together and roll them and give that a quick chop. And then we're going to mix this through our greens. So kind of hide them in there a little bit. And we're going to season our greens. You can do it with salt and pepper, but this is our spice blend. We're just going to season that up a little bit, mix it in, and then go ahead and add some of our dressing to the lettuce. And this is our sesame miso. And so poke is a Hawaiian dish that is normally made with like ahi tuna or salmon or some kind of raw fish, but we're doing watermelon today. So we've got that mixed up, and so our greens are going to wilt down a little bit with that seasoning on it, and we'll just set that aside. And I'll change gloves. Right. Okay. And I've already got a watermelon here that has been cut, and you can use whatever you like. I normally use seeded watermelon, but for this dish, I'm going to use seedless. So again, you want to just sort of cut it bite size instead of big chunks. And so we'll just make some slices that are maybe a little under a half an inch thick. Okay. And then we're going to chop them again this way. And this is a really good watermelon, by the way. I had a taste of it earlier. And then we're going to go back through the last direction. So they're going to be little cubes in the end. Okay. And we're going to just take that and put it on top of our salad. Put a good bit of it since it is watermelon poke. All right. And we can just set this to the side. And I'm going to clean up a little bit. I'm going to go on to the next ingredient. Okay. And so the next ingredient we're going to prep here is our cucumber. So I like the small pickling cucumbers. We're going to cut off both ends. And I like these because they have small seeds. This is our discard bowl. And I'm not going to peel the whole cucumber. I'm just going to peel maybe 3 or 4 strips of the skin off. Okay. And by this having small seeds, I'm just going to leave the seeds in them. So if it was larger, I would probably cut the seeds, scoop the seeds out. So we're just going to cut it in quarters, and then we're going to chop it. I think this is enough for one salad. And so I'm going to put a little of our spice blend. Again, you can just put salt and pepper on here. I'm going to take a little spoon, toss this together, and let it kind of macerate for a few minutes before we add it to the salad. Okay. All right. Set that aside. Then we're going to add our avocado. I'll probably only need about half of this. It's a pretty big one. And we've got some lime here that I've already cut previously. And so I'm just going to squeeze this out. See, it just comes right on out. Squeeze that out. And then put about, this is a pretty juicy lime, so I'm going to do almost the entire half of it. And I'm going to add a little seasoning to that as well. And just kind of chop it up in the bowl. You want it to sort of be like, almost like guacamole, but without all the other ingredients in it. Because you want to chop the salad with this. And the big thing about this salad is you don't just eat the watermelon or eat the greens. You want to eat it all together. So set this aside as well and start on our next ingredient. Okay. So we're going to take a jalapeno here. I'm going to kind of try and scoop the seeds out with the potato peeler. And I'm doing this in order to keep it round. Get all the seeds out and some of the white pith is coming out as well. And you want to kind of get that out because that's where the heat is. Now, if you like it, leave the seeds in. But a lot of people have an aversion to heat, and even though jalapenos are not that hot to me, if you just tell people, oh, no, I don't want that. So if you kind of make it less painful, they might go ahead and eat it. So I'm going to cut up some rings, and I'm going to just do a little bit of a dice to some. And the reason I'm doing this is to kind of let you know that if you want to sneak some in, you can put it in a dice and mix it in with the salad. That way it's sort of hidden, and they're getting a little burst of flavor, and they can't just take the rings and pick them off the top of the salad. So I'm gonna dice that up into little brunoise pieces, all about the same size. Okay. Then go ahead and mix this through. All right. Okay. And next we're going to have our green onions that we've washed and got here. So everything is all the different colors, the green and red, are just kind of pretty on top of each other. Okay. All right. And so I think we're ready to go ahead and finish assembling. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cucumbers on the salad. Just kind of put it all over here and there. Okay. All right. And then we're going to take our avocado, sitting here. I'm going to kind of put a little bit of that, like a big piece on the top. And then when we start eating it, we can kind of mix it in everywhere. And even if you don't think you like avocado, you'll like it in this salad. Okay. Then we have our pickled red onions that we just pickled this morning. If they had been done overnight, this would be beautiful pink color. But it's all good. I'm going to sprinkle some of the green onions on here. And put a couple of rings of the jalapeno in. And then on top, we're going to finish with a little bit of the red onions. And I'm actually going to put a little bit more fresh basil on top. Sprinkle this with a little more dressing. Drizzle, rather. And then just top this with some fresh basil. And there you have it. Very simple. 9 ingredients, all fresh, all raw.
That's a beautiful looking salad, Chef Brock. We've got lots of questions in here for you. I guess we'll address them before we move on to the next one. But one was, what's in the salad dressing? And I remember you said, I heard you say sesame, but I can't remember anything else you said.
Okay, it's called sesame miso. So it has sesame oil and it has miso. So we don't use any MSG and no soy in our in any of our food. So the miso that we use is made out of chickpeas. And so then you have a little agave, our spice blend, white vinegar. I think that's about it. I'm probably forgetting something, but that's the gist of it. And
I can already see we're going to be posting information in the chat on this one with the recipes, because we've got lots and lots of people craving the recipes for that dressing and for the watermelon poke.
Okay.
Folks, Chef, are you setting up for your second salad? Because I noticed that all the items here for that first one. Do you want me to give you a break so you can set up for the second one?
Sure, that'll be great.
Okay, folks, we're gonna play a promotional video to give Chef Brock a chance to get the kitchen shifted from the watermelon poke to the harvest salad. Here's a look at some events that are coming up. So we're moving our What's Going On series. It's going to be kicking off on Wednesday, September 1st. For those of you looking for gardening tips, I know it varies for across the country. And always remember on this series, we're broadcasting live from Central Time Zone. I think there was a little confusion this morning, but the Virtual Community Center lists the time slots across multiple time zones. So on anytime you're registered for those events on the Virtual Community Center, remember that the time zone you're in is listed. So find the appropriate time zone. And I think Chef Brock is ready for us.
Yes, we're
All
back.
right.
So we're going to start just like we did with the other salad, and we're going to put down some of our house blend. And again, this is spinach, romaine, and red and green cabbage chopped. So I'm not going to chop it. It's been chopped. The reason I chopped the other is because everything in here is so small. I didn't want somebody to stick their fork in it and there just be this huge piece of cabbage sticking out. So, but this is perfectly fine. This is called our harvest salad. So I wish it was fall, but this is sort of what we kind of move into when we're off of our offerings, our seasonal offerings. So we are going to take our seasoning, or you can do salt and pepper, and just sprinkle it on the greens. Okay, and this will also help to wilt the greens down a little bit. And this is our roasted shallot vinaigrette. Okay, just put a little bit of that on there and let that do its work while we're working on our other components. So we have a Fuji apple here, and we're gonna cut the apple, and we also have some lemon water. So this is just about a lemon and a half and some water. I would say this is probably almost 2 cups, probably a cup and a half of water. And we're cutting the apple, and I'm going to just go ahead and stick it in there to let it start going. And to this, we are going to chop our apple up into similar bite-sized pieces so that everything will sort of be the same size. And we're dicing it. That dressing really smells good. And we're going to stick it in here so that the apple does not turn brown. That's why we've got this lemon water here. Okay. So we're going to slice it down again. And then just cut it in bite-sized pieces. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit more of that. And this is very similar to our berrylicious salad. If you've had that here locally, it has strawberries instead of apples. But everything else is pretty much the same, although we don't put the fresh herbs in there that we're going to do in just a second. I'm going to cut a little bit more of this apple up. There we go. And so it's just going to sit in here in this lemon water until we're ready for it. Okay. And so again, the reason we're putting it in this lemon water is to keep the apples from turning brown. Okay. So like we talked about with the other salad, it's a great idea to put fresh herbs in your salad. So this would be great with rosemary if you dice it up really fine. We have some fresh thyme and some oregano, which is my favorite, that we're going to put in here. So we're just going to discard take the leaves off and discard the stems. Okay, this is our little discard bowl. Just going to get some of that off. And a good way to get the leaves off is to go in the opposite direction of how it grows or how it's growing. So, and you can kind of leave the stem there and you can just see how the leaves are just falling and you don't have to pick each one by one. That's a little trick. And so we've got all of our oregano leaves and we're going to chop them up, put them on a salad. And you don't have to chop up oregano that much because it's a very soft and tender leaf. but I just like to do it almost as a dusting or a sprinkling over the salad. Okay, we'll pull our salad out front, sprinkle some of those herbs on top of that salad. It smells so good. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of this fresh thyme. And you'd want to use fresh herbs. If that's not something that you already do, you definitely want to incorporate that in your cooking. You can't get away from having live food, and that's one of the things that we need more of. We're eating so much dead food, and you just want to eat something that's thriving and has had life in it, So I think that's a good enough amount. And even though the thyme leaves are small, we're going to chop them up as well. Okay, and we're almost done with our salad. We're going to put everything together. All right. Okay, I'm going to add this to the top, so we're going to hang on to that for a second. So we've got our greens, a little bit of our dressing, and our spice mix, and some herbs. And we're going to add some fresh blueberries, organic blueberries, to the salad. They're huge. Picked these up yesterday. Gorgeous. And if you don't have blueberries, you could use dried berries, like dried cherries, dried cranberries, something like that would work as well. Okay. And we're going to take our apples. I'm straining them with my fingers. Okay. I'll just kind of put them around here and there. And see, they still look fresh and uncut. Right? I'm going to put some of our fresh thyme onto the apples because they're wet, and that'll just be delicious. And then we have here our walnut meat, and we've used this before, but this is sort of a staple at Biddy's. And so we're going to sprinkle some of this over the top, and it's just seasoned with fresh oregano, actually, herbs and spices, but it's raw walnuts, just been zapped in the food processor. And we're going to finish this with some more of our signature vinaigrette. And I'm going to put the rest of these herbs on top. And there you have it, 2 great salads that you can enjoy for the rest of the summer and into fall.
Well, it looks great. Looks great. Looks like somebody's going to have a fantastic lunch this afternoon. I see. This is my favorite comment. Where's my fork? So, folks, the ingredients for the salads are included in the listing on the Virtual Community Center. If you didn't see that, it's with the information outline what's going on. But we'll put some additional information out there about additional information so that you can follow along. I see a lot of comments about looking delicious. A lot of people want the recipes. A lot of people interested in the recipes. So we had the ingredients posted. I think the key that they're looking for is that spice blend, because you use the spice blend in everything, and they were really asking a lot of questions about the spice blend. So we'll follow up on that too. We, as always, would like to thank our partners at the Alabama Cooperative Extension for allowing us to use their kitchen for these cooking episodes, because without them, we wouldn't be able to share these live events with you. Folks, we appreciate you sharing a portion of your day with us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Bye.